My name is Shannon Boucher. I'm OCDSB candidate Zone 6, uh, Ottawa School Trustee candidate, October 24th election. Why should you care about the Ottawa School Board elections this October? Well, very few Canadians play the pronoun game, but a recent survey reported by the National Post and the Ottawa Citizen indicated that a small minority of people, less than 10%, believe that society should be compelled to go along with the pronoun game. The pronoun game comes from an academic discipline known as queer theory. And queer theory posits that we make up gender, that gender is socially constructed, that boys can be girls and girls can be boys. Now, just this week, there was a decision in the case of Buffoni versus the OCDSB, where a child in grade 1 was very disturbed by lessons that her grade 1 teacher was giving the class that told her that she wasn't actually a girl, that girls could be boys and boys could be girls. Ottawa schools adopted the transgender expression and diversity, equity, and inclusion policies back in 2014 under Brett Reynolds. Written policies force teachers to keep cross-sex identification from parents. So if a child starts to question their gender, the presumption is that parents are unsafe, and unless the child explicitly says, I want to tell my parents, the schools keep the secrets. Those policies force administrators to keep complex Google documents about which parents they're telling lies to and which names and pronouns the child is going by in different contexts. The schools and the teachers conscript other children into lying about the trans-identified classmates in order to protect them from the harms of their parents, the people who love them most. The numbers of children presenting to the CHEO Gender Pediatric Clinic since 2014 have exploded more than 25 times, 25-fold, 2,500%. This according to an interview earlier this year with the head of the CHEO Gender Clinic, who reported that in 2014, approximately 8 people, young people, presented to the CHEO Gender Clinic, and in 2021 it was between 200 and 250. She wasn't specific about this. I have reports from teachers at different schools, mental health practitioners, and parents, all about different schools, that it's frequent to see classes with 3, 4, 5 children with trans or non-binary identities in them. We're talking about 10, 15, and 20% of the student population. These numbers are not consistent with any historic patterns of cross-sex identification. These are overwhelmingly teenage girls with complex other mental health problems, a history of eating disorders, autism, cutting, depression, anxiety. But as soon as they get on the trans train, no one can question them. Then they end up on the path to the gender clinic, puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones, top surgeries and the removal of healthy reproductive organs in the quest to find the true self and become who they really are. This is never in human history that we've ever done this. Historic patterns that we understand from more than a century of research is that about 1 in 5,000 natal boys has gender dysphoria severe enough that they would undertake a social transition or even some kind of medical transition. And that only started in the last approximately 40 years in any meaningful way whatsoever. Overwhelmingly now, though, the numbers of kids who are identifying as trans or gender non-conforming or non-binary are natal girls identifying as non-binary or boys and believing that they can become boys. They're taught this at school. According to a Pew Research study, July of 2022, approximately 1 in 20 Americans under the age of 30 is identifying as gender non-conforming. Anonymous whistleblowers in the mental health and support system at the OCDSB tell me administrators push and enforce gender expression and secrecy policies against the wishes and the and the practitioner's ethics of trained mental health practitioners and against the wishes of teachers. But anyone who questions these policies, teachers, parents, mental health practitioners, are faced with the diversity and equity officers who bully, shame, and intimidate them. Teachers, counselors, and support workers face workplace harassment, investigations, and suspensions for speaking out. I learned an important lesson in my life when I was finishing high school myself, and that is if someone teaches you that they can't be trusted, that they are a liar, under no circumstances should you trust them with anything, especially, in this case, not your kids. Ottawa Carleton District School Board is modeling lying, bullying, and keeping secrets as adult behavior for our children. They've proven that they cannot be trusted. When has it ever been okay for an adult to say to a child, we're just going to let this be our little secret?